Hi everyone, welcome to Maximum Attack Rallying. It is rally week, round 3 of the WRC is almost upon us. Coming up this weekend is Safari Rally Kenya. Oh, this is going to be a tough one, isn't it? One of the most challenging rallies of the year. And ironically, as F1 fans have been complaining about the challenges posed by the Melbourne circuit for the new F1 cars, I mean, their little heads would explode, wouldn't they, if they had to deal with the wide variety of conditions that the WRC has thrown at the teams so far in 2026. So obviously we started the year with the ice and tarmac of Monte Carlo, then the snow of Sweden, and now we are off to the plains of Kenya, where we will see all kinds of challenges and far too much use of the term fesh. So before we get on to predictions of the inevitable Toyota domination, let's just talk quickly about the routes. There is a big change for this year, so the Nairobi start has been dropped and we are now focused fully on Naivasha. Despite that, we've somehow lost 30 kilometers from the route, so we've got a total of just over 350 kilometers over 20 stages. 2 of those stages are run on Thursday, so we've got Camp Moran, that's 24.35 kilometers, then we've got Mazubibu, just under 9 kilometers. Those 2 stages actually bookend Friday as well. In between them, the morning loop on Friday is Loldia, 25 kilometers, Kengan Geothermal 13 kilometers, and then Kedong at 13.79 kilometers. The afternoon loop sees those same 3 stages run in a different order, so it switches to Kedong, Geothermal and Loldia before that return to Mazubibu to round out Friday. Saturday is a bit easier to remember because we've got 2 loops all running in the same order, so you've got Soisambu, Elementita and Sleeping Warrior. They all run twice to make up your 2 loops. They are 24.94, 18.01 and 18.41 kilometers respectively. Sunday is obviously the shortest day as always. 18.2 kilometers of Osirangoni opening the action, followed by Hell's Gate, that's 10.48 kilometers. Then the crews return to Osirangoni before a 1 hour regroup ahead of the second run of Hell's Gate, which is obviously the power stage. Weather, let's talk about the weather. It can obviously be a major factor in Kenya. A little bit of rain can turn those dusty stages into something of a quagmire. I've looked at the forecast and there is potential for rain on Thursday and Friday. The forecast I saw said around a 50% chance, so definitely worth keeping an eye out on the weather just to see what happens, because rain could obviously change things significantly. Let's get on to the predictions then. Toyota are going to win, aren't they? I think it's fairly safe to say they have won every year since 2021, since the rally returned to the calendar. They've dominated the opening 2 rounds of this year's championship, so I don't really see any evidence to suggest that isn't going to be the case here. That said, this is going to be the first time the Evo version of Hyundai's i20 Rally 1 has appeared at Safari Rally. Last year they chose to use the older car. According to WRC.com, they've completed 10 days of testing since Rally Sweden, so obviously they've been running the car a lot to try and get some ideas on how to improve. Will it be enough for me? No, it won't. I think Toyota are going to absolutely smash it. Hyundai, of course, will be hoping that things are different, particularly Thierry Neuville, who does not, I'm sure, want to repeat his pretty poor 2025 season. You do have to say the Evo version of the i20 has been a bit more competitive on rougher rallies. They won Greece last year, they won Saudi Arabia last year, but, we've seen some major steps, I think, haven't we, for the Toyota? It just seems to be very, 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 very capable so far this year. So those events from last year, I'm not sure they are a great guide. That means then that I predict a battle between our 2 championship protagonists, Elfyn Evans and Oliver Solberg. The former, of course, has a 13-point lead in the championship after winning in Sweden. He should have plenty of confidence, shouldn't he, in Kenya? He won the event last year and obviously comes off the back of a Sweden victory. That said, Oliver Solberg has obviously had a very good start to the season. He won in Monte Carlo and has, I think it's fair to say, has settled quite comfortably into his permanent Rally 1 seat. There is, of course, though, another man who could throw a spanner in the works, and that's Sebastian Ogier. He is back after missing Rally Sweden. He didn't actually have the best start, did he, to his title defence. Finished third in Monte Carlo, not his best Monte ever by some means, couldn't make it win number 11. That said, he does have some advantages. He was not very complimentary of the Hankook tyres, of course, in Monte, but he's starting 6th on the road, so he's got potentially a road position advantage over the other two. Depending a little bit on the weather, of course. So if it rains, obviously we might see the stages deteriorate a lot. So we'll have to see what happens, but that could help him very much indeed. I think between the three of them, who is going to win? I have to make a prediction, don't I? I'm going to say Ogier is going to win. I'm going to say Evans is going to be second and Solberg is going to be third. That is my prediction for the top three. I do think it's going to be Toyota dominance. That makes it sound a little bit like I have written Hyundai off completely. I do think Neuville has a chance of being, he's probably going to be the biggest threat to the top three. I'm not sure he would break into the top three, given the form of those three guys and the advantage that the Toyota has. Takamoto Katsuta, he usually goes pretty well in Kenya as well, doesn't he? I think, he had a good Sweden, sort of took the fight to Elfyn Evans, so I think Elfyn Evans really had the advantage, didn't he? So I think those two could fight it out, but I think realistically, it's probably going to be for 4th place, isn't it? I think whether Neuville can actually beat the Japanese driver is probably going to be down to the reliability of the I-20, isn't it? Unfortunately. Still many names I haven't mentioned, of course, in Rally 1. Sami Pajari, Adrian Formeau, Esa-Pekka Lappi. The former, he went well in Sweden, didn't he? Pajari, he had a very good rally indeed, so perhaps he will have a decent one. Perhaps he'll shake things up a little bit. Adrian Formeau, as always, is showing flashes of speed, but there's just too many questions over the I-20 and perhaps his consistency, which he still needs to work on a little bit. Esa-Pekka Lappi, decent performance in Sweden for him, his second outing of the year. He knows his job though, doesn't he? He is just about bringing the car home and being there to score points if something happens to the others, so I don't expect too much from him. Obviously we've got M Sport, John Armstrong. He will be doing Safari for the first time, I think, so it's going to be a learning one for him. Josh McAleen, he needs to keep building, doesn't he? I think for me, Armstrong has looked a little bit stronger than McAleen so far this year, so he needs to keep an eye on that, doesn't he? But, he has more experience of this event than Armstrong, so it is perhaps an opportunity for him, particularly with the fact that so many people could potentially have problems. Maybe this is a weekend where he could get a reasonably strong result. That brings us on to WRC2, not the broadest of entries for this one. I think there's only around 15 WRC2 entries, but we do have some quite big names kicking off their seasons. Gus Greensmith, he leads the field. He has switched to a GR Yaris Rally 2 for this season from his traditional Skoda, as he seeks to finally get his hands on the WRC2 trophy. Behind him is a trio of Skodas, however: Robert Verves, Andreas Mikkelsen and Fabrizio Zaldivar. Romit Jurgensen, he starts 5th in a Fiesta Rally 2. Diego Dominguez and Daniel Quist are behind him in a Toyota and a Skoda, respectively. The top local driver is Karan Patel. He's in an older Fabia R5. Who will come out on top? You have to say that Gus Greensmith is in with a good shout. He has won twice in WRC2, looking for victory number 3. You've got Verves, Mikkelsen, Jurgensen. There are some strong names in there, aren't there? I think it's hard to predict. If you look at the top drivers in WRC2, for most of them, it's actually their first rally of the year, so not all of them will be completely match fit. I think it will probably be between Greensmith and Mikkelsen for this one. I think you could maybe argue that the Toyota is the best WRC2 car right now, but you can never underestimate Mikkelsen, can you? Mikkelsen in a Skoda is a fine combination. I will say, though, Romit Jurgensen, he has had 3 starts already this year, I think, so he has got some miles under his belt. The Fiesta has enjoyed some big upgrades, hasn't it, over the last few months, so maybe, just maybe, he's not had the best results so far this year, but he is developing quite quickly, so I perhaps have him as a bit of a wild card. I think I'm going to play it safe and say that Mikkelsen will win. Then I'm going to say Jurgensen and Greensmith, I think, is my top 3 for WRC2. Of course, if you disagree with my predictions, whether it's for WRC2 or the guys at the top in Rally 1, do let me know in the comments below. Anything else you are looking forward to for this one? Of course, it should be a fine weekend. Other than that, I will just say that while you're commenting, do make sure you hit those like and subscribe buttons. And we just have to wait, don't we, a few more days to see the WRC back in action. So I'm going to leave this one there and say thank you as always for watching, and I will see you again in the next one.